to know you, got to love you. Just keep on walking down to separate ways. I can show you, escaping your pain now. You break down, you're drained now. Your heart pounds, your lips move, your eyes shine, you lose it all. I'll just wait here as you're fading away. I got to know you, got to love you. One thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hi, my name is Omobola Stephen and welcome to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Now, the thing is, we all love comfort, but unfortunately, it's one of the culprits that keep us stuck. Even when we know we need to make changes, we often feel or choose what feels safe and familiar instead of what we really want. We regret at making excuses, living in denial, and justifying we choose to stay stuck. Now, listen to the words of Byron Pussifier or Byron Pussifier. He said, do not allow your comfort zone to prevent you from adapting to change or from trying new ventures. Now, today, my topic for discussion is simply getting away from your comfort zone. Hey, you good missed? Do you miss some episodes? Go ahead and search for Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen on iTunes, on Google Podcast, Listen Notes, on Josephine, on Podchaser, Deezer, and Castbox, and do have a what we're learning on the go experience. Now, let's dive in. As defined by Lifehacker, the comfort zone is a behavioral space where activities and behaviors fit a routine and pattern that minimizes stress and risk. The operative words here is being stress and risk. In our comfort zone, there is a sense of familiarity, security, and certainty. However, when we step outside of our comfort zone, we are taking a risk and opening ourselves up to the possibility of stress and anxiety. We are not quite sure what will happen and how will we react. We have come to see stress as a dirty word. I know that. Seem applicable to me too, and for a good reason, but a little bit of elder stress can actually act as a catalyst for growth and provide a powerful motivation to act. Did you hear me? A little bit of elder stress we do. Now, there's nothing wrong with being in your comfort zone unless you get too comfortable and start holding yourself back instead of challenging yourself to learn, grow, and try new things. For years, I have been using an old version of database software. I could manipulate the program to do everything I wanted. My familiarity with it helped me to move and update files with speed and accuracy. Then, as my business began to grow, I realized I needed an upgrade. That meant learning a new software program. I started making excuses to avoid making the change. Now isn't a good time. I will need to take classes in the evening. The thought of living in my comfort zone was very threatening. I'm sure you can relate. You know what neale-donald-walsh said, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It is not only computer software we hang on to our desire to stay close to the familiar. It is not, I'm just using that as an example. We do it in other areas too. We take the same routes to work every day, shop at the same store, order the same items from the menu instead of selecting something different. Too many routines stop you from challenging yourself. I tell you, it is pretty much the same thing day in, day out. Now, choosing to stay in a comfort zone eventually restricts your capacity for life. Is that what you really want? Is it? My question to you is, how about requiring more of yourself so you can create better options? Number 2 is how about no longer waiting for someone else or your life circumstances to change before making a move? How about that? Think about it. Now let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
One is taking risks is what helps us grow. How you may ask? As children, we are naturally risk takers, but as we grow older and learn to fear failure, we start holding ourselves back and attempting few new things. The truth is, there is no learning without some difficulty and fumbling. If you want to keep on learning, you must keep on risking failure all your life. It's as simple as that. Number 2 is that trying new things can make you more productive. Remember, I'm talking about how you can step out of the comfort zone. So creativity is innately risky. We know that. When we share creative work, we open ourselves up to vulnerability and possible rejection. At the same time, risk and failure increases the possibility of great creative achievement. Now you see the balance. Number 3, embracing new challenge can help you get or age better. Embracing new challenge can help you age better. The thing is, the comfort zones tend to shrink as we get older in life, but if we can keep expanding them, we will open ourselves up to greater fulfillment and improve well-being as we age. Number 4, but don't push yourself too far. I mean it. When demands become too great for us to handle, when the pressure overwhelms us, too much to do with little time or surplus, we enter the zone of bad stress, and you don't want it at all. Not even me. Author Daniel Goleman said, just beyond the optimal zone at the top or the performance arc, that's the tipping point where the brain secretes too many stress elements and they start to interfere with the ability to work well, to learn, to innovate, to listen, and to plan effectively. Let me conclude by saying that everything truly rewarding lies out of your comfort zone. The more you can stretch yourself or stretch your capacity to experience a full life, the more rewarding life becomes. Constantly challenging your comfort levels will help you feel more alive, more passionate, and more confident to lead you out to get what you want. Understand. There are no reassurances, guarantees, or parachutes to help you when you take the leap. But go ahead, take the leap anyway. Hey, before I go, listen to these. Step so far outside of your comfort zone that you forget how to get back. Now for later, it's bye for now. All my love.
Why don't we say that it's too late for us now?